Shabbat Shalom to Elaine. I hope you and John are doing well. I hope your mom is doing well. I haven't spoken to her in a while. And I also hope that Barry and his family are doing well too. Emily, nice to see you. I hope the unveiling was okay last week. Sorry for me not being able to be in attendance. And Charles, our favorite chazan. And Irene has just checked in. We will begin in a few moments. Thank you, Charles. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to everyone. Welcome to Agudath Israel Etz Ahayem Synagogue here in Montgomery, Alabama. I am Rabbi Scott Kramer. Nice to see everyone. It's really nice to be here. As it turns out, I did finally, I got tested last Thursday, a week ago Thursday. I did not get the results till Monday morning. I did test negative, thank goodness. But Irene and I, Adina and Daphna, we all got something. I don't know what it was, but we were pretty sick last weekend. So, but by Tuesday morning, I started feeling a little bit better. And by Tuesday night, whatever it was gone. So Irene and I are just exhausted from all of this, and we're so tired of being sick constantly. So anyway, I hope all of you are doing well. Welcome to our Shabbat service. We are praying out of Siddur Lev Shalem, and let us begin tonight with Shalom Aleichem, page 5. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We continue with Lechuna Ranana, page 11. Lechuneranena, lechuneranena, lechuneranena ladonai. Lechuneranena, lechuneranena, lechuneranena ladonai. Naria, Naria, Letzur Yeshenu, Nekadma Fana Betoda. Naria, Naria, Letzur Yeshenu, Bizmirot Naria Lo, Alechu Nerhanena, Lechu Nerhanena, Lechu Nerhanena, Ladunai, Lechu Nerhanena, Lechu Nerhanena, Lechu Nerhanena, Ladunai. Naria, Naria, Letzur Yeshenu, Nekadma Fana Betoda. Naria, Naria, Letzur Yeshenu, Bizmirot Naria Lo. Please join me in the English. Let us go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector. Filled with thanks, let us greet God, raising our voice in song. Great is Adonai, a greater sovereign than all other deities. God's hands formed the earth's deep. Mountain crests too are God's work. The sea is God's, for God made it. Dry land was fashioned by God's hands. Come then, let us bow and kneel. Let us bend our knees in the presence of Adonai who formed us. For Adonai is our God, and we are God's flock, sheep in God's caring hands. If only you would listen today to God's voice and not become hard-hearted like the people at Merivah, like that time at Massah in the desert, when your ancestors tried me and tested me, though they had seen what I had wrought. For 40 years I was troubled by that generation, and I said, these are a people whose hearts have gone astray. They do not know my way, so in anger I swore they would not enter my rest. Arba'im shanakut bedor va'omaram to'eh lehevavim v'heim lo yadid rachai asher nishpati v'yapi im yavaon el menuchati. Page 13, Psalm 96. Ashiru ladonai shir chadash, shiru ladonai gola aretz, shiru ladonai baruch shemaho, basru meyom leyom yeshuato, zapru vagoyim kevodo, bechol amim nifliotav, Ki gadol Adonai, O mehulal miyod, no raho, I'll go Elohim, lai lai lai, Kiko Elohe, Hamim Elilim, Vadonai Shamayim Mahasa, Had v'hadar lefanav, Oz v'tiferet b'mikdasho, Havul Adonai mishpachot amim, Havul Adonai kavod vos, Havul Adonai ke'evod shemo, Seu mincha, Uvahu lechadzrod of lai lai lai, Shtachavul Adonai behadrat kodesh, Chilu mipanav kol haaretz, Imrum vagoyim Adonai malach, Avtikom tevel balatimod, Yadina hamim b'meisharim, Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz, Ayiram mayamu melo, Yalo sadai, Vechol asher bo lai lai lai, Ajiranenu kolat seyar, Lifnei Adonai kiva, Kiva lishpot aretz, Yishpot tevel betzedek, V'yamim be'emunato, Yalai la 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 la, Yai la la la, Yalai la 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 la, Yai la 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 la, Yai la la la. We continue with Psalm 97 on page 15. Adonai reigns, let the earth be glad, the many distant lands rejoice. Clouds and thick darkness surround the divine. Righteousness and justice secure God's throne. Fire goes before God, consuming besiegers round about. Flashes of lightning illumine the land. The earth watches and trembles. Mountains melt like wax at the approach of Adonai, at the approach of the Master of all the earth. The heavens tell of God's righteousness, and all the nations see God's glory. Worshippers of idols be shamed, for praising false gods. All that is deemed supreme bow before God. Zion hears of it and rejoices. The cities of Judah exult as you, Adonai, pass judgment. You, Adonai, are above all that is earthly, exalted over all that is worshipped as divine. Those who love Adonai hate evil. God protects the lives of the faithful, saving them from the hands of the sinful. Light is sown for the righteous and joy for the upright. Rejoice in Adonai, you righteous people, and thank God as you pronounce the divine holy name. Or Zarula Tzadik will Israel have simcha, simchu tzadikim barunai, v'oduhu lezecher kadisho. Psalm 98, page 17. Mizmor shiru ladonai shir chadash ki niflaot asa Hoshia lo yemino Ozaroako Joadia Adonai Yeshuato Le'ena Goyim Gilad Sid Kato Zachar Chasta Ve'emunato Levei Yisrael Ra'u Cholav Se'aretz Et Yeshuat Eloheinu Oriu Ladonai Kol Haaretz Pitzchum Ve'ranenu V'zameru Zamru Ladonai Bechinar Bechinar Ve'kol Zimera Bechatzot Rod Ve'kol Shofar Oriu Lifnei HaMelech Adonai Yiram Hayam Umaloho Tevel V'yoshveva Neharot Yimcha Uchaf Yachad Arim Yiranenu Lifnei Adonai Kiva Lishbot Aretz Yishbot Tevel Betzedek Ve'amim B'meisharim Yalai Yalai la 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 Yalai la 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 Yalai la 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 Yalai la 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 Yai la 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 Yalla la 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 Yalla la 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 Yai la 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 la. Page 19, Psalm 99. Adonai reigns, nations tremble, the one enthroned amidst the cherubim makes the world quake. Adonai is great in Zion above all nations. They shall acknowledge your name, saying, Great, all-inspiring, Holy One. A sovereign strength lies in the love of justice, and you forge the paths of truth, judging Jacob righteously and justly. Exalt Adonai our God, bow down before God, the Holy One. Moses and Aaron among God's priests, and Samuel among those who called upon the divine name, called to you, and you answered them. You spoke to them from amidst the cloud. They kept your covenant and the law you gave them. You answered them, Adonai our God. You are a forgiving God to them, even as you punish them for their transgressions. Exalt Adonai our God and bow down at God's holy mountain, for Adonai our God is holy. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu la'ar kadisho, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. We rise, if you are able, page 21, Psalm 29. Mizmor leDavid, havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, havu l'Adonai kavod vos, havu l'Adonai kavod shemo, ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh. Kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod hirim Adonai al mayim rabim. Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai be'adar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vaishaber Adonai et alzei halvanon, Vayarkidem kemo egel, Levanon v'siryon kemo ven re'emim. Kol Adonai chotzev lavotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholel ayalot, Vayechesop yaharot, Uvehechalov kulo omer kavod. Adonai lamabul yashav, Yeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yevorech et amo v'shalom. You may be seated. And we continue with Lechadudi, page 23. Lechadodi lekrat kala P'nei Shabbat nikabela, Lechadodi lekrat kala P'nei Shabbat nikabela, Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmi'anu elam yuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, L'shemo tiveret v'lit tila, Lechadodi lekrat Kala P'nei Shabbat nikabela, Lekrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki mikora beracha merosh, Mikedem nesucha, Sov maaseh b'machshvat chila, Lecha dodi lekrat Kala P'nei Shabbat nikabela, Mikdash melech ir melucha, Kumitzi mitocha hafecha, Rav lach shevet beyemek habacha, V'hu yachamohu alaychem la, Lecha dodi lekrat Kala P'nei Shabbat nikabela, Hitnarim me'afar kumi, Livshei vigdei tifartechami, Hayad ben Yishai Beit alachmi, Korva el nafshi gei Allah, Lecha dodi lekrat Kala P'nei Shabbat nikabela, Hitoreri, Hitoreri, Kiva ore kumi ori, Uri, Uri, Shir daberi, Kivod Adonai alayich nigla, Lecha dodi lekrat Kala P'nei Shabbat nikabela, Lecha dodi lekrat Kala P'nei Shabbat nikabela, Lo tevoshi v'lo tikami, Ma tishtochachi u'ma tehemi bach, Yechesu ani eyami v'nivneta ir al tila, Lecha dodi lekrat Kala P'nei Shabbat nikabela, V'hanyulim shisa Shahu esayich v'rachakuko mihivalayich, Yasis alayich Elohayich, Kim chaz chatan al kala, Lecha dodi lekrat Kala P'nei Shabbat nikabela, Yamin usmoti frotzi v'yet Adonai taritz, Ayadish ben parti v'nismecha v'nagila, Lecha dodi lekrat Kala P'nei Shabbat nikabela. We rise, if you are able, for the last stanza, page 25, as we face towards the west to greet the Shabbat bride. Boi v'shalom ateret mala, gam besimcha uvetzala, toch emunei am segula, boi chala Bo'i chalale chadodi lekrat gala P'nei Shabbat nekabila. You may be seated. We continue, page 27, Psalm 92. A psalm, the song of the day of Shabbat. It is good to thank you, Adonai, and sing to your name most high, to proclaim your love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. Finger the lute, pluck the harp, let the sound of the lyre rise up. You gladden me with your deeds, Adonai, and I shall sing of your handiwork. How wonderful are your works, Adonai, how subtle your designs. The arrogant do not understand. The fool does not comprehend this. The wicked flourish like grass, and every evildoer blossoms only to be destroyed forever. But you, Adonai, are exalted for all time. Surely your enemies, Adonai, surely your enemies will perish. All who commit evil will be scattered. As a wild bull raises up its horn, you raised my head high, anointed it with fresh oil. As my enemies gather against me, my gaze remains steady, for my ears listen and hear. The righteous flourish like the date palm, thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in our God's courtyards. In old age, they remain fruitful, still fresh and bountiful, proclaiming Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no flaw. Tzadik tamar yifrach ki erez balvanon yiske shitulim bevet Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu. Od yenuvun beseva deshenim verananim yeyu lehagid ki yashar Adonai tzuri v'lo havlatabo. Page 29, Psalm 93. Adonai is sovereign, robed in splendor, girded in strength. The earth stands firm, not to be dislodged. From earliest time you were enthroned, you are eternal. The rivers rise up, Adonai. The rivers raise up their roar. The rivers raise up their waves above the roar of the vast sea and the majestic breakers of the ocean. Adonai stands supreme in the heavens. In your house, beautiful in its holiness, your testimonies endure, Adonai, for all time. Shabbat Shalom. It's so nice to be back in our sanctuary. Just to fill everyone in, I had to get tested a week ago, Thursday, for COVID. It was supposed to be a 24, 48 hour till I get the result, but I did not get the result till Monday morning, and I tested negative. So did Irene, and Adina and Daphne, I think, also tested negative. So we were all pretty darn sick last week. I was feeling terrible, and I felt really bad because we had a baby naming that I was supposed to officiate at last Saturday morning, and of course I did not feel like I wanted to spread COVID to the Shinbound family, and especially this newborn. So I was not in attendance at the baby naming, and also I was unfortunately unable to do Ronnie Rosen's unveiling. But the show does go on. I started feeling better Tuesday morning, and by Tuesday evening, I was feeling just fine. So Irene and I are now just, we're recovered from the crud or whatever the heck we had, and but we're just exhausted, as I'm sure all of you. As I logged into Havdalah last Saturday night, again, not feeling great. Of course, we turned on the news to this terrible, terrible tragedy that was unfolding, or had unfolded, and was continuing to unfold in Colleyville, Texas. We're so happy that it ended with no one in that congregation, the rabbi and the three hostages, being able to escape unharmed. But it makes us all think. And of course, the rabbi at that synagogue, he thanked the training that he got from both the FBI and the Federation SCN that trained synagogues in security. They also trained us in our security here, and we feel pretty secure. We feel like we've got the knowledge about how to handle ourselves in a situation. As you all know, we spent extensive money on buying new cameras. We have 17 cameras that look on every inch of this building. I can watch them from the bima. We have a silent alarm. Our doors are secure. Only those with a code can get in. We have police coverage, off-duty police coverage on those nights where we know we're going to get attendance in synagogue. And I know that everyone is hesitant right now to attend because of COVID, and maybe because you're just a little frightened of what can potentially happen. I tell you honestly, I feel very secure here. I feel very safe. But I understand that everyone is going to have to walk slowly to get back to a comfort level. But we, like the rabbi in Colleyville, are very thankful for the training that we have got. As most of you know, I am a chaplain at the Maxwell Air Force Base Federal Prison Camp, where I have been a chaplain there since 2008, and I visit with inmates every week. 2 years ago, I shared this week's Torah portion with a group of inmates, and the portion is called Yitro. The story of this particular Torah portion is the Israelites are now free from their servitude. They have been let go by the Egyptians from the 400-year slavery. The Egyptians had regrets immediately and tried to chase them down. The Israelites found themselves trapped between the Egyptians, who were in their chariots trying to get to them, and the Red Sea, or the Sea of Reeds, and the miracle of the splitting of the sea and the Israelites getting to the other side in safety before the Egyptians were able to get to them. An east wind comes up by God, and the waters come down on the Egyptians. The Israelites are now free. They're a little lost. The men are trying to figure out where to go. They don't ask any of their wives where to go. And of course, they're lost perpetually in this wilderness. And will be so for 40 years. So in this Torah portion, Moses has a slight respite, and he decides that he's going to pay a visit home. And Jethro, his father-in-law, Zipporah, his wife, his two children, Gershom and Eliezer, are coming out to meet Moses as he comes to meet them. And the story goes that Moses comes and he greets Jethro. He kisses him, bows down to the ground, and then they both go into his tent. Not a word spoken to Zipporah, his wife, or his two sons. They are completely ignored. And I've talked about this before. I'm a little troubled by that, very much so. And I told these inmates this story, and they didn't get it. They said they didn't understand what the problem was. So I said to one of the inmates who was being released 4 weeks later, 4 weeks from then, and he was going to be able to go home just in time to celebrate his daughter's bat mitzvah. And I said to him, you know, while you were incarcerated, who suffered the most? You or them, your family, your wife and your daughter and your other kids? Who suffered more, you or them? And I challenged him to think about that. And, you know, thinking about this pandemic we're in, I feel like all of us are also incarcerated. We're going into our third winter of this pandemic. We're all prisoners in our home. Hopefully we have loved ones that share this solitude with us, but not all of you do. Not all of you have someone in your home. And we have to stay away from everyone because Omicron is so prevalent. I thought I had it. Irene thought she had it. Adina and Daphne thought they had it. Who knows? Maybe next week we will. But we all are incarcerated in our homes. And who is it that you, when this pandemic is over, who is it that you would greet first? I would imagine that your immediate family, your parents, grandparents, your children, your grandchildren, all of those people that we have not been able to see that live out of town, or maybe are reticent to come in our house and we're reticent to go to their house. But I think about what I'm going to do when this pandemic is over. And I'll tell you one thing, I am going to hug everybody I see. I miss hugs so much. But here's the thing. I feel not as isolated as I would normally feel because of this connection that you and I have right now. We are incarcerated, yes, in our homes physically, but spiritually, I'm free. I'm free to be here with you. You're free to be here with me and all of those others that I can see the names on our live stream. We have close to 25, 30 people that are connected right now. And I feel so connected with all of you. And I feel like, yes, this will be over, but we will still maintain this spiritual connection even after this pandemic. Even after when hopefully I will see a sanctuary full of people when we finally get over this and we can start having food and dinners. Irene and I haven't had anyone over for Shabbat dinner in so long. We don't remember what it felt like. But occasionally we will Zoom with our grandchildren on a Friday night. It's kind of nice. Feels like they're right there with us. But on Shabbos, on Shabbat, when I'm here with you, I don't feel like I am incarcerated. I feel like we are Moses and his family coming together. Each week we get to meet each other. And I'm so grateful for the board of Agudath Israel, Etz Ahayem, for providing this technology so that we can come together. We have been live streaming now since March of 2020. Can you believe it? And it's been a learning curve, a steep learning curve. I feel like last week I broadcasted from my living room, and I had some technical hardware issues with the laptop I have at home. Now I'm back in our sanctuary, and miraculously all the problems are gone. That's because of the generosity of the members of this congregation, the board of this congregation, in being able to provide this technology so we can connect with each other. So I wish you all Shabbat Shalom. I don't feel incarcerated on Friday nights and Saturdays. I feel like I am free. I feel like this is exactly where I want to be. And I'm so glad that we meet each other here every Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. We will continue our service with Ma'ariv, page 39a. Please rise for the Baruch Hu, the call to worship. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. Baruch et Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Tzvaot is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. U'mahavir yom u'mevi laila, mavdil ben yom u'vein laila, Adonai Tzvaot shemo. El Chai V'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Olam V'Oed Baruch Atah Adonai Hamariv Aravim, page 40. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amchavta Torah Mitzvot Chukim Mishpatim Otanu Limadta Al Kein Adonai Eloheinu B'Shachveinu V'Kumeinu Nasiach B'Chukecha V'Nismach B'Divrei Toratecha Uv'Mitzvotecha Le'olam Voed Ki Hem Chayenu De'orech Yameinu Uvahem Nege Yomam V'Layla V'Yavatachat Tasim Mimenu La'olamim Baruch Atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad V'yahavta et Adonai Elohecha B'chol v'avacha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele Asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al vavecha v'shinanatam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech v'shachpecha v'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot b'ninecha u'chtabtam nam zuzot beitecha u'visharecha V'haya'im shamo tishma'u el mitzvotai. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor daber el bnei Yisrael v'yamarta lehem v'yasu lahem tzitzit al kanfei v'gdehem ledoratam v'natnu al tzitzit hakana patil techelet v'haya lachem letzitzit oritem oto uschartem et kol mitzvot Adonai v'asitem otam V'lo tatu acharei levavachem v'acharei nechem asher tem zonim achareihem leman dizgaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kadoshim leloechem ani Adonai Eloechem asher hotzeiti etachem me'eretz Mitzrayim leot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Eloechem Adonai Eloechem Emet, page 43a. Ve'emuna kozot v'kayam aleinu. Page 44. U'machuto b'ratzon kibalei Moshe u'vnei eschalach hanishira בשמחה רבה ויאמרו כולם מי כמוך פועלים אדוני מי כמוך נדוק בקודש נורא דהילות עושה פלא מלכותך ראובנך בוקיים לפני משה זה לי אנו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגלת מן חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל page 45 השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום ושמוצאתנו ואין לחיים ושלומי אתה ויעלם ופעוש עלינו שכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני Haporet Sukkot Shalom Aleinu v'al Kol Amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. We rise, if you are able, page 46. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. Uvayom hashvi shavat vayinafash shavat vayinafash shavat vayinafash. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. We rise for the silent Amidah, pages 47 through 52. Pray in English, pray in Hebrew, pray in the best language of all, the language of the heart. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך Tasim leolam, Tasim leolam, Tasim leolam. We rise as the ark is open for Aleinu, page 56. Aleinu l'shabeach ladonako, latet gedula liotzer bereshit, shalo asan kagoye aratzot, velo samanu kamishmachot adama, shalo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shehunatei Shamayim v'yosed haaretz, u'moshev yikaro b'shamayim imao, u'shchinatu zo, begavei meromim, hu Eloheinu einod, emet malkeinu evazulato, kakatu b'torato, V'yadata hayom v'hashivota elavavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, b'shamayim mimal, v'yal haaretz mi tachat einod okay, nikvel Adonai lirot mehebeti v'chaduzacha. Kagadu b'doratecha Adonai imloch le'olam v'ho'ed v'nehemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz bayom ma'u yeh Adonai echad u'shemo Echad. May be seated. This week we will observe yard sites for Isaac E. Cohen, Ida Feinberg, Leah Weinstock, Leah Beaton, Mary Turner, Rabbi E. Blochschlager, Herman Levine, Isidore Werfel, Sam Feldman, Albert Siegel, Isaac H. Cohen, and Lilia Nana Thresher. Last week, because I was home, I did not have access to this remembrance that came in from Yvette Hochberg for Bernadette Halko. It has been 2 years since my oldest sister Berna passed away. I miss her daily. In fact, it seems weird that I almost miss her more than my parents. She was too young to die. In the last 6 months, a lot has changed in my life, and I wish I could pick up the phone and talk to her. She was a very intelligent woman, having earned degrees in accounting, medical technology, and nursing. She was also lots of fun and funny. She was everyone's fun sister. We could always rely on her to be the party planner. She left 3 beautiful children, Jason, Michael, and Maggie. When she passed away, I took on the responsibility of making sure her grandchildren were cared for, as they would not have their granny bird with them. I hope I have fulfilled this, but I know I never will replace her. I miss my Berna, my granny bird. Thank you very much, Yvette. Those observing yard site and those who mourn, please rise and join me in the Kaddish Tome, the Mourner's Kaddish, page 58. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah Bialma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute b'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayedecho Beit Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kariv yimaru amen Yehi shmei rabba mevarach le'lam u'me'el maya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitchomam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudisha b'richu Leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran b'yoma v'yimaru amen Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen Oseh shalom b'imramav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen. Once again, Shabbat Shalom. Glad you all joined us, our family, this evening as we begin Shabbat. I will be here tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. For the continuation of Shabbat services. And of course, tomorrow evening, the Alabama Community Virtual Havdalah will meet to end Shabbat together via Zoom. If you would like to attend and did not get the link, please email me, ravmalki@gmail.com. That's RAVMALKI at gmail.com. 2 weeks from tomorrow, if I can count correctly, February 4th and 5th, we were supposed to be going to the retreat at Ramah. Due to COVID, that has been postponed. We are looking at dates in May, May 6th or May 20th. We'll see if any of those dates work out, and we'll let you know. We don't want to just cancel it. We'd like to just find a date within this year that we can go, because we are all so tired of this and not being able to be together. So hopefully in May we'll have the retreat rescheduled. But on February 4th and 5th, we have a great replacement for the retreat. Carl Sayers, our new student cantor, will be with us Friday night and Saturday morning. And Toria Stark will actually join us on Saturday as well. So we are going to have a phenomenally musical weekend. Carl is, he's engaging, he's smart, he has a phenomenal voice, and he's a performer. And so whether you decide to join us in person here in our sanctuary or online, please come and enjoy. It's going to be a very, very musical weekend. And with that, we will go ahead and close our service with Adon Olam, page 211. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra li'ed nasa v'chefso kol azai melech shemo nikra azai melech shemo nikra Diacharei kichlot hakol leva ado yimloch nora v'hu haya v'hu oveh v'hu yiyeh b'tifara v'hu yiyeh b'tifara v'hu echad v'yein sheni laham shelo leachbira b'li reshit b'li tachlit v'lo ha'oz v'hamisra v'lo ha'oz v'hamisra v'hu eli v'chai go eli v'tzor chevli b'yetzara v'hu nisi humanosli minat kosi b'yom ekra minat kosi b'yom ekra b'yado afkid ruchi b'yet tishan v'yaira v'yimaruchi kiviyati Adonai li velo ira, Adonai li velo ira. I wish you all a restful a peaceful and a happy and a healthy Shabbat Shalom.